Hello and welcome to the WOOLapyk podcast. My name is Ida and this is a podcast about knitting. I have done it a bit differently this time. I have recorded bits and pieces of the podcast the last few weeks just because I find it easier for me to do it that way, so I don't have to sit down and do like a one long episode. I hope you like that. So I'm just jumping in here at the beginning saying hello and welcome. This is a knitting podcast, and like I said, my name is Ida. I live in Denmark with my husband and kids. And I think I'm just gonna get started with the first part of the podcast, and then when all the different parts are done, then I'm gonna be back here and show you the last bits. I have been working on my Wednesday sweater from Petite Knit, and I am now at, let me show you, it's in this bag that I really love, which is a gift from Strikkefabrik. It says Fiber Folk on here, and it's just perfect size for a sweater. But I am working on the Wednesday sweater, as I said, and I am now at the point where I just need to knit the body, because I have, can you see, one sleeve done, and I also have the other sleeve done, and I finished the neckline. The original pattern has a turtleneck. I think it's called a turtleneck. I'm not really sure if that's the correct name for it, but like a folded over high neck thingy, which I don't like. I knit this a couple of years ago, and I knit it the same way with just this like regular neckline. I think maybe it's a little higher than a regular neckline, but I really like it like this. I actually did a tubular bind off, and I really like it. So it was a lot easier than what I remember. I also really like the finished edge a lot more. I think the last times I've done it, I just wasn't really happy with the way it looks afterwards. So I thought it was just a waste of time because I wasn't happy with it. But this time I found a new tutorial. I've done plenty of different tutorials. This tutorial is by Kimi Munkholm, which is a Danish tutorial lady. And she did something different with one of the stitches that what I've been using for the other tutorials that I've used have been in English. So I don't know if there's a difference there, or I don't know. I think the one that I use the most is from Post-Ho, and I think they do differently. At least it looks differently than this one. I don't remember doing that particular, it's like an extra step that she does that I don't really remember doing in the other ones. So I really like it, and so I did this, and then I did it on Anton's gloves or mittens as well, and I'm really into it suddenly. So I've decided that I also need to do it on the sleeves. I didn't do it on any of the sleeves, but I think that would just look better. So I have the same bind off on all the edges on here. So I'm just gonna rip that back a couple of rounds and then do a tubular bind off for the sleeves too. So that's kind of interesting because I never really cared much about it. But now that I've done it and that I like the result, I suddenly care about it. So I don't know. I also am knitting a top by Strikkefabrik, and that also has a tubular cast on, and that was really interesting to do as well. So all into that suddenly after turning 38. I turned 38 this month, so I don't know what's going on, but I like it. So anyway, this is the Wednesday sweater. Let me see if I can try it on actually. I am knitting this using a woolly yarn from Adelanish. I think is it a 100% Shetland wool? Oh, really know. It's rustic, but it's not scratchy. I don't find it scratchy. But it's more rustic than what the original, not the original, but my previous Wednesday sweater is knit in. So it's also, can you see? See, it's just has a lot more structure to it. That I hope it's gonna block out a little bit once I block it, because it is kind of just a little stiff to wear. I think once I block it, it's gonna be fine. And you can see I have plenty of length on the sleeve. Oh, maybe you can't. There. I have plenty of length on the sleeve, so I can pull back a bit and do the tubular bind off. So yeah, just need the body now. We are at my parents right now, and I actually asked my mom if she would knit a bit on this for me, so knit a bit on the body, because I am now knitting on all the stuff from Fiberfolk. And she said yes, so she is very happy knitting stockinette stitch, which is something that I like too. So yeah, if she could knit a bit on the body for me, that would be wonderful. Yeah, and yeah, like I said, this is the yarn that I have left. So not a whole lot. Hoping that it's gonna be enough for the body. Yeah, I have this one on the cone, and then I have silk more hair from myself. WOOLapyk dyed here, the green one. Yeah, you'll see. I have more of this, so if I run out, that's fine. If I run out of this, I'll have to find a similar colored white cream yarn. I think if I do run out, it's going to be at the bottom of the sweater, and it's not going to be as noticeable if I do end up adding another yarn to the sweater. Yeah, so really excited about this one. It's getting warmer now, but even though it's still going to be a good sweater for spring, I can wear that instead of a jacket. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it being done. Very sheepy smelling as well. Then I have a finished object. This is gonna be, I guess, a mix of works in progress and finished objects, because yeah, I'm just sort of recording whenever I can, just here and there. So I have finished my Be My Baby mittens from Knit, which is a Danish designer. They're available in English as well, the pattern. Here they are. They're just very fun, colorful mittens. I have used my boucle yarn, so I held that double, and I got gauge when holding the yarn double. It's knit in I think it's almost an Aran weight boucle yarn, and this is a DK weight that I then held double. And the cuff is knit in a organic merino wool. That's also my hand-dyed yarn in this lovely red color. This is the same red color that I used for my classic ribbed hat that I knit at the end of last year, I think. And this is just leftovers that I had from that. And I just think it goes perfectly with the glove. I am happy that I went with the red yarn instead of that yellowy that I talked about. What's it to say? It's just a very simple pattern. You knit top down, so you knit top down for the big, what's that, for the fingers, the hand, I guess. And then the same thing for the thumb. I bought the pattern because I really liked the yarn. I thought it was a fun, yeah, just a fun fiber to work with. So here they are. I did something funny with the thumb here, and also this one. It doesn't look like this in the pattern, but I mean, who cares? It doesn't really matter when you wear them. They are a little bit long for me. I could probably have knit them a centimeter or two shorter. Not really a big problem, but I could have done that. Especially considering I knit a pair for Enton as well. I'll see if I can put in some footage of it, because he wore them and then he fell headfirst into a puddle after 3 minutes of wearing them the first time, so they're drying at home. And I had like just enough to knit him a pair as well. So it worked out fine. But if you wanted to knit two pairs of mittens, which I've done, like I think this is the small medium, and then I knit the 3 to 5 years old for him. And you are a little unsure if you have enough yarn just with that one skein of yarn, then I would just knit the, I don't know what this part is called, the finger part. I would knit that a little shorter because I knit the ones for Anton are also a little bit too long for him. I mean, he's also just turned 2. He just turned 2 a couple of days ago. So obviously his hands are a bit smaller than a 3-year-old, but still there's plenty of length in there, and I would probably just omit a centimeter on either of them, and you would definitely have enough for both an adult and a kid size version in one skein of yarn, which I think it's a nice way to use a hand-dyed yarn, like especially if you feel like you don't have the economy or the money to buy hand-dyed yarn for a whole sweater, then buying a single skein of yarn for 2 pairs of mittens, sorry, seems more doable, or a hat or something like that. So if you are gonna stop by Fiberfolk Vejle, I will have these here or there, and you can try them on if you want to, and probably also some of the yarn. I don't know, I think I have a few skeins left of this as well. This is called WOOLapyk, by the way. Yeah. I have a new cast on, which wasn't really the plan. I have seen the pattern and I've been thinking that I wanted to knit it, but it's a summer pattern, so I have planned to knit it. At least I planned to knit it after I'd finished my Wednesday sweater. But we have Fiberfolk coming up on March 18th. So that's in a month. Actually, it's exactly a month away today. So I'm wondering if I'm actually gonna finish it. But if I am not gonna finish it, I'll just bring whatever I have with me. And I have a little stall there, shared with Chibo hand dyed. So I thought it would be nice to have something knitted up in some of the yarn that I have, because most of the yarn that I have now dyed up, I don't have a lot. I have quite a limited amount, but that is something that is newly dyed and it's new colorways. So just to have something to show off some of those new colorways, I thought it would be nice to just knit this top now, so I could use it as a sample there. I also have my mittens that I'm gonna bring because I used my yarn for those, and also the Fiberfolk shawl, which is also not going to be finished at all, but it will be there as well, which is also knitted in my yarn. So anyway, I am knitting the Olympia top by Strikkrik. Her name is Reggie. I actually don't know what her last name is, but like her designer name is Strikkrik, and that is I'll see if I remember to pop in a picture of it so you can see it, but it's a rip top. it's a rip top. Some straps on there, they're crossed on the back, and it just looks really pretty. And she is good at, I have never knitted anything from her, but I've seen other people knit it, and seems like she's really good at knitting or designing garments that fits a lot of different body types. Yeah, so I'm excited for it. And so far I only have knit the swatch. I actually brought it with me here to Sweden because I thought I would be knitting a lot, but I just haven't, and that's fine. I also forgot to bring a ruler, so I do have knitted the swatch, but I don't have a ruler, and yeah, I just don't want to cast on until I'm sure that the swatch is correct. So let me show you the yarn first. I am knitting using 2 strands held together of this, which is my own superwash merino, 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. The pattern calls for a fingering weight yarn Avesa from Filcolana. It's a free pattern actually on Filcolana's website. I know Jakob is in the shower, so you can probably hear music and everything. He has music in there. Anyway, so this is Art Nouveau, a colorway that I dyed up recently. And yeah, here is the swatch. You can see here. Yeah, so that is my newest cast on, and yeah, we'll see how far I get. I'm probably not gonna podcast until after Fiberfolk next month, so maybe it's gonna be done, maybe not. Yeah, I have 2 more projects to show you. One of them you have seen just maybe a few minutes ago, I don't know. I talked about that when I was in Sweden, I think. And I've been working more on it, so I thought I might as well show you and also talk a bit about it, because yeah, there's been some hiccups with that one. Let me just start with that one actually. So I've been working on so that was Anton. Part of the reason that I do these, that I find it's easy for me to do shorter pieces of the podcast, is that he's home with me all the time, and it's easy for me to just get 10 minutes here and there. I just have the TV on right now, and to do like 5-10 minutes talking to the phone and then just be back out with him, and I can, yeah, like I said, put the TV on and he can be preoccupied for 10 minutes there. I like watching the Cozy Cardigans podcast by Mel. I think her name is Mel, and she just sometimes does like podcasts like this where she do like recordings here and there and then just add them all together for a full-length podcast. Yeah, so that was a side note. Anyway, so I'm working on the Olympia top by Strickrik, and he keeps calling my name. Of course, as I say, it's easy for me to do it. He keeps calling my name. The top is a knitted bottom up, and you start by doing a tubular cast on. Tubular cast on. I don't know why that was hard to say. So the first time I did as the pattern, I almost did it as the pattern told me to do, where you cast on and you knit a few rounds with a scrap yarn, and then you add the yarn that you want to use for the top, and you do something. Anyway, I did it wrong. You do like it's supposed to look, I don't know what it's called, but it's supposed to look like a tubular cast on, and I tried it, and I don't know if you can see, it does not look like a tubular cast on at all. So I was a little annoyed, but you know, I was like, okay, I've just done it wrong. I'm just gonna do it over again. So this is the top. I cast it on again, doing a tubular cast on. I used a tutorial by Kimi Munkholm, which was really, really good and so easy. I didn't know that tubular cast ons were so easy. Really, really easy. So I resisted it because I thought it would be just a hassle, but it isn't. You just basically cast on a knit stitch and a purl stitch, and then you do 2 sort of setup rows afterwards. That's it. It's so easy and simple. It actually is a really nice, it looks really nice. So you can see it was supposed to look like, I hope you can see this because I don't know really what the camera shows here. It was supposed to look like this the first time, but it looked like, oh, what is it? This. See? So I thought I was so smart, and I just did the tubular band cast on. I knit for 4 centimeters. The pattern is a free pattern, by the way, so yeah, I knit for 4 centimeters, and then I just looked at the pattern, and I found out that the stitch count did not add up. And then I reread the pattern, which is something you should always do. And I found out that what I'd done here, I had basically knit 2 stitches together where you're supposed to knit them separately, so you double the amount of stitches that you have on your needles. And I also thought this was quite, it was okay, but I found it a little narrow, so when I cast this one on, I added, like, I went up a size, I went up a size, not a needle size, just a size, a body size for me, because I thought it was quite small. But it turns out it's because I needed to double the amount of stitches. So now I have these two and none of them work. And I need to do it all over again. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna do this cast on again. I like that cast on, and then just cast on the total number of stitches that needs to be on here instead. Yeah, so that's a bit of a bummer to have done. Basically, I've done this much of a top. It's just a waste of knitting time. I know some people really enjoy the process, and I enjoy the process too, of course, otherwise I wouldn't knit. But I'm here for the finished object. I'm here for the, like, be able to wear whatever I'm knitting. So for me, this is a waste of knitting time because I'm not going to be able to wear this. So yeah, the colorway is Art Nouveau by myself. I think I talked about that when I showed you the swatch. Yeah. So, but I am quite excited about it. I don't think I'm going to be able to have this ready for Fiber Folk since it's just, what's that, 3 weeks away now. So yeah, but maybe I can have some of it done. Here comes Anton. The last bit that I have to show you is my Fiber Folk shawl. You guys have got to be very sick of me talking about this shawl now, but I'm this far. I like the fabric a lot better. It's more drapey and softer also. It is a little wonky, and I hope it's gonna block out, because you can see just by looking at the yarn that the yarn is wonky as well, because I ripped everything out and I did not want to wash and block the yarn. So I'm hoping that once I block this, that it's gonna even out a little bit more. So as you can see, it's turning out a bit narrower than the version I just did before. I'm hoping I can get it to be longer, or I'm pretty sure I can get it longer that way. Otherwise it's gonna be something completely off with the universe or something, since I'm doing it decreases or increases at a slower rate, basically. Yeah, here's the yarn. I really don't want to bother you with any more talk about this for now. I found a few swatches that I did for, and I would say a few, but actually I can only find one. Okay, I found one swatch that I did for the original version, which is here. You can see that's the original version, which is more of like a traditional triangular shawl, just with a, uneven, I guess you could call it uneven triangular, because this side is longer than this side. Okay, I think that is it for now. Yeah, let me know if you, well, you don't have to let me know. I hope you liked the podcast, even though it has different time zones and not time zones, but times. Thank you so much for watching. If you are Patreon, or if you are a Patreon, thank you for supporting this podcast. And yeah, I hope you will have a lovely new month. It is February 28th today. So tomorrow we already have March, and that means here in Denmark that we are in springtime. So this is the last late day of winter here. Tomorrow is spring, and yeah, I'm wondering how many, I know in the US that spring won't be until I think mid-March, 20th of March, I think. And I think maybe it's the same in France, but I know here in Denmark it's not. We sort of change the seasons on the 1st, so March 1st is first day of spring. I don't know if we're the only ones. I think it's the same in Norway and Sweden. But yeah, now I'm just rambling. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you next month. Bye.